right, welcome to another edition of the Above the Bridge podcast. I'm your host, Thaddeus. This will be episode 54. Shout out to our sponsors. First off, we got Defend Hawaii. Shout out to Defend Hawaii. If you go on their website, defendhawaii.com, upon checkout, use promo code ATBpod and you'll receive 15% off your entire purchase order. Defendhawaii.com, ATBpod upon checkout. Next, we got irepdetailsupply.com. If you go check them out, they have a new store in Temple Valley Shopping Center. Go check out Kaika or go on their website, irepdetailsupply.com. Same thing, promo code ATBpod. You'll receive 15% off your entire purchase order. Last off, we got Hawaii Candy Factory. If you go check them out, find out what candies you want. They got a bunch of crazy kind of snacks and lihimui gummies and what have you. Go on their website, hawaiicandyfactory.com, promo code ATBpod. You'll receive 10% off your entire purchase order. Okay, so this week I met this guy through the internet. He has a brand called Everyday Better. I kind of got inspired by his message and he sent me this shirt right here and I connected with him and I have him on the show. My guest today is Eric Yamashita. What's up, brother?
What's up, man? I'm honored to be here, man. I really appreciate it.
I'm very honored to have you. I really do support your message. And like I first seen you did a promo video for IREP Detail Supply for Kaika. Right. And yeah. I'm like, wow, this guy. And then I seen his I seen your Instagram, I seen what you're trying to do. And then bruh, I see your shirts at the gym all the time. Yeah. And the message is good for workout and stuff, but the thing fits good and you can show off the guns, you know what I mean? Like
it feels good, right?
Yeah. But I just really do like the concept behind it, the wording, and it's so simple, but it means so much. And we'll get into that, but I just kind of want to get a little bit of background about you and how'd you get started in the fitness industry and stuff like that.
Well, I'm 55 now, so I'm kupuna. I'm a senior.
Not yet.
But in high school, I graduated Hawaii Baptist Academy in '84. But in high school, I wasn't even 100 pounds. So I thought, well, I'm probably not going to get taller, so I got to get bigger. And I had this PE coach, PE teacher. He was a ex NFL player. He played for the Eagles and for the Toronto Argonauts. Black guy. I went to an Asian HBA school. So he was a black guy who was like the biggest guy I'd ever seen, like a Greek god. He was probably like 210, 215, but he was such good shape. And he's the one who really inspired me. He said, hey, Yamashita, if you're not going to get bigger, taller, you better get bigger. Just, that's what the girls like. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I started working out in high school. And ever since high school, I've been working in gyms since 1985. So I've always been in the industry, working at the desk or, that's where it started. I started personal training in 92, so 30 years ago. So I've been doing more than half of my life have been personal training. I started just training, friends and family and that kind of stuff like that. And then it became a business, a legitimate business in 2001, so 21 years. And through that whole time from the early 80s, I was competing in bodybuilding because I never got like really tall. I thought I'm going to get bigger. So from 95 pounds in high school, I got up to about 180 at the highest, which is a lot of weight for I'm like 5 feet tall on a really good day. So yeah.
I feel you, bro. I'm not tall either. So I did start working out for the same reason. Like, if I'm not going to be tall, I got to at least look good. You know what I mean?
I always thought you could have a nice car, but you got to have the body. So you know what I mean? You can have a really nice car and an ugly body. I better have a nice body and an ugly car.
Yup. Sounds good.
But yeah, so I competed. You're good.
As competition wise, would you do what kind of competitions, like local like Stingray and all those kind?
Yeah, I first started competing in 1987 was my first show. So I weighed like 114 pounds and I was in the 155 pound class. And I got second place out of 9 guys. And I was the smallest guy, but I got second. I beat 8 guys and I got best poser. So being on stage in your bivvities, I was like so stoked because I was never big enough to do like, organized sports. So I got on stage and everybody screaming my name. It was such an incredible ego boost and a high. That was 1987. So that was my first show. And since then, I've done 29 competitions from local all the way to national level. Yeah. So traveled in maybe like 10 different states on the mainland and did 28 shows. So the biggest show I did is I won the USA Championship in 1996. So that was a pretty big show. Yeah.
Wow. When you get to compete in the mainland, like how is it versus compared to Hawaii competitions? Granted, no more as much aloha. Is it more competitive or like
Oh
the
yeah,
people?
for sure. You're getting like the best of each state qualifies to go to like the USA or the nationals. Yeah. So you can win like a region, like a novice show, which is beginner, and then there's open show in Hawaii. So when you win like the state championship, and then you get to qualify for the mainland. So there's bodybuilding is really big all over the United States, but like East Coast, West Coast, that's like the two meccas on the coast. So that's where they have the big shows in California or New York or Florida. So after I qualified for the mainland, I went to California, won a big show in California, and then I went to the USA, which is one of the biggest shows in the nation. So you just kind of incrementally can work your way up. Yeah. So I did
that's
that
super
slowly.
cool.
I was always one of the smaller guys, but eventually they had a bantamweight class, which is 143 and under. So a lot of local guys do well in the lighter classes because we're not as big. Yeah. So
yeah.
And that's it. Yeah. And that's where I stayed for another 10 years.
Yeah. So when you do those competitions, like in Hawaii, I know some guys who did it. It feels like a brotherhood. Like the guys that compete kind of support each other. In from what I've seen, I'm not sure. Is that the same case when you go mainland, or is it like cutthroat kind?
Yeah, it is. But I mean, I think Hawaii, we have aloha. Yeah. So when you go up there, I have no shame. So I always talk to everybody. And it's funny, once people find out you're from Hawaii, that's so different than being from Idaho or New York or California. Because most people are like, oh, they either been to Hawaii or they always wanted to go to Hawaii. And because we're from Hawaii, we always bring snacks and omiyage and gifts to people. So these guys are like, it seems like, I feel like we're always a magnet. People want to know about Hawaii. They want to talk story with us. And I'm that social butterfly. So I just talk to people and network people. Even before the internet, because I was competing, internet was like early 90s. I was competing in the late 80s. So you would just basically call people or talk story and write letters. But now it's a little different now because you can see people on Instagram. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think the fact that, you're from Hawaii, people always remember because you can meet, 40 guys, Pennsylvania, Arizona, but the Hawaii guy, you can always remember because it's something different. So it really was to our advantage. Yeah. To our advantage.
That's true. That's true. It would kind of resonate with people. It's not as common as people might think.
Right.
Would a lot of local boys go up, or is like kind of just a handful?
Yeah. In the beginning, there's a guy named Chris Baldwin, Alan Ichinosi were the first guys in Hawaii in the early 90s to really break through. And for the last maybe 25, 30 years, Hawaii's done really, really well at the national level in the smaller weight classes. We have probably like 15, 20 pros. Tons of us have won national, titles just because, like I said, in Hawaii, we're so tight over here. We always kind of take care of each other. When we go up, they go, how was it up there? And you encourage the next generation to compete and go up to the next level because we're such a small, we're big fish in a small pond in Hawaii. Yeah. And so if you really want to be competitive, you test yourself at the next level. So you're getting, over here, you can think, oh, you're the man, you're the best. But then you go, there's always some freak at California or Arizona or New York. And then if you can beat the best guys in the nation, then you can really stand out. Yeah. So,
well, in my opinion, like bodybuilding, you're an athlete. It takes a lot of dedication, definitely tons of discipline and hard work. And that's kind of what an athlete is. So I think athletes are determined like bodybuilders are definitely athletes, and so that's something as competitive organized sports you probably couldn't do, but bro, that's you're definitely an athlete for sure, you know what I mean?
Well, it comes down to discipline too. Yeah, so some people have incredible genetics and they don't have work ethic. Yeah, or you can have both or one or the other. I thought my genetics were okay, but I enjoyed the work ethic part and the discipline. And it's not a team sport, yeah. So you don't really depend on other people. It's really yourself. If you cheat on your diet, that's on your body shows up. If you cheat on your training, it shows up in your body. So it taught me a lot. I think it helped me with my discipline and my being accountable for the rest of my life, which I can parlay it into business and ventures and brands and stuff like that. It taught me a lot when I was younger.
Well, that's good. It kind of gives you a good baseline to kind of
for sure
build your life around. So how is it on stage? I always ask this to my bodybuilder friends because I always thought like, oh, that must be a weird feeling. Like you're literally, like you said, in your underwear and showing the world your body. Like, is it scary, or are you coming out there like with all this confidence? Like, oh, I'm about to show the world all the training I did. You know what I mean?
There's a lot of guys who have incredible physiques, but they're really shy. You know what I mean? And for me, I thought I had a pretty good physique, but I just, man, it's the best drug in the world. You go on stage and you got a couple thousand people yelling at you, and you're your big speedos and men, women, whatever. It's an incredible high because you work so hard. So you work, you diet for 16 weeks and you're on stage for 2 minutes.
Oh
So
yeah.
you got to give everything you can. It's like, yeah, you work really, really hard. So if you like they say, if you build a car and you didn't paint it, it doesn't show off so good. But you work all these, these months and months and months of training, and then the pinnacle is showing it off the best you can. So it's an incredible high, because it's like I said, you're showing off everything you work hard for. Yeah, it's like a drug. So once you do a show, you think, oh, all the hard work you did, I got to do another one. It's hard to stop. Yeah, it's hard to stop.
That's cool. So when did you stop competing?
So I stopped competing when I had my son. So my last show was 2002, and then I had a son and was married, and then I got divorced and raised my son. And then my son was getting older, and he saw all my old bodybuilding pictures. Like, oh, Dad, you compete before. And I thought, I'm a single father. I don't want to compete because that's selfish. And then when my son got older, so 2013, so he was like 8 or 9, I thought, I'm going to try this again. So I went back after 11 years, competed in 2013, 14, and 15.
Oh,
so
wow.
I competed at the US. I won a show down here, went to California at 48 years old, and then got second at the USA against a bunch of 25-year-old guys.
Yeah.
So I didn't win, but just the fact that, and a lot of these guys, I was competing with their dad. Because they're like 22 and I'm 48. They're calling me uncle. I'm like, bro, don't call me uncle. But I literally knew their dad, because they're the next generation. Yeah. So
wow.
I figured if I can keep up with the young guys, because in my head I still think I'm 25. Yeah. If I keep up with the young guys, it doesn't matter if I turn pro or not. Just the fact that I'm competitive, and that was the main thing. So I did 3 shows, and my son was stoked, and it was really great. So I came back at 48 years old.
That's super awesome. That's inspiring, to be honest.
Yeah.
And it must have been good. Like your son could watch you and see that dedication and discipline. It
right.
Definitely, when you do stuff by example, that's the best way to teach, when you show by example. So I'm sure your kid is going to pick up on that. And that's something he's going to remember his whole life, bro. I see my dad on stage.
Yeah. It's true that you say that. I mean, it's more, just the discipline. He saw me being super dedicated. And I think as parents, we say a lot, but the kids, they really, really watch what we do. Yeah. So I try my best to pattern for him and just not be perfect, but, just be the best I can be. So, yeah, it was good for both of us.
So that being said, you got out of competition and you've been personal training. Have you got to train competitors for competition, or is it just more like kind of health oriented people?
Yeah, I've run the gamut. I tell everybody I train 12-year-old kids to garbage men to beauty queens. In 30 years, I've trained all kinds of, I've done all kinds of stuff. In the beginning, I trained everybody. When you try to build your business, you want to train everybody. So you want to be as good as you can. And then eventually, as the business develops, you find a niche. Yeah? So after so many years, my niche was women that were like 40 to 65. That was when you're young, you want to train all the girls, but the girls, they're not going to pay. That's fun. When you get older, you want to pay the bills. Yeah. So I started training. I trained a lot of women. When my son was young, I ended up meeting Sam Choi at a park, and struck up a conversation. And that was probably one of the most inspiring stories I've ever done. He was a celebrity, and I told him I'm going to treat him like a regular person, not like a celebrity. And we fought a little bit in the beginning, and he lost 105 pounds the first year. So it was incredible. Yeah. And what a great human being. I mean, it was just, yeah. And he was a good guy. He was a celebrity, but I treat him like a regular person, and he put in a lot of work, and I think he just turned 70. He's going to live so much longer because he's done really, really well,
Yeah, we had him on the show a couple months ago, and his story was inspiring, and he's been around, and the amount of knowledge and stuff he's seen was amazing. But to see him healthier and feeling good about himself, I didn't know that you guys were kind of linked together. But yeah, if you had a part of that, that's awesome. 100-something pounds, that's a lot of weight.
Yeah, he's maybe 5'6". Yeah, so he was 405.
Yeah. Oh wow. Yeah. Oh wow.
Yes. Yeah, so we got him down 105 pounds the first year, and then in total I think he got down to about 220, 230. Now he's still holding on, maybe 220, 240, but he's doing well. I mean, he's gonna definitely live a lot longer, because he was like a ticking time bomb. As a chef, he was just eating everything and traveling all the time like that. But now he's gonna have, I try to preach to people longevity, quality of life, and longevity. Big muscles and being super skinny or whatever, or super, fit looking is one thing, but living long and living well is another thing.
Yeah, that's what really matters, to be honest.
Exactly.
So in your personal training, you do a lot with what is like the regimen that you kind of do? Do you set up their diet and like cardio and that kind of stuff, or is it just weightlifting, or like how do
Yeah.
you generate your clients by what you have them training on?
Right. I have a private studio on Vineyard Boulevard at Aloha United Way. So I do wellness with the staff here. For the last 10 years, is primarily my clients are over 45 or 50. So the demographic is a little bit older generation, people that have a little bit more time, a little bit more flexibility, expendable income. I was training a lot of women, but in the last 5 years, I've been training a lot more men. But usually people in their 20s and 30s, they know everything, yeah? That they can see it on the internet. So they're not going to necessarily hire a trainer because you can see it on Instagram. Yeah. So the last 5 years, it's been people probably 50 to 70. Most of my clientele, we do circuit style training. I did a lot of nutrition stuff and I did a lot of cardio stuff before, but the demographic I train now come average maybe twice a week, and we do circuit style training. So their schedules are pretty busy. So we incorporate cardio and stretching, core exercises, mobility stuff. So it's not hardcore bodybuilding stuff. The goal is to keep people moving and healthy so they can enjoy their retirement years. You know, people work so hard to build their wealth. When they retire, if they get sick, can't spend it.
Yeah, that's true. And you can't
most
enjoy
of my clientele now, is probably 70% women, 40 to 60 or 70. And I'm starting to get men who are like in their 60s. You know, they used to play football for St. Louis and they was tough, but now they're 60 and everything's broken. And the only reason they come to me is because the doctor said you better take care of your health. So once the doctor says it, they slowly come back. So a lot of these people probably wouldn't even come to a trainer because they're too busy. So once they set an appointment twice a week, then they know they're going to come in and they're going to do workout for, 45 to an hour, and they're going to get some kind of workout in. And the diet is obviously the hardest part for most people.
Yeah.
And so the controllable part would be the cardio part. So we do cardio and training. We just do a metabolic style training. So I try to pack everything I can into about a 50-minute session twice a week. So these people are maybe never going to be skinny, but they're going to live longer and feel better. And the goal is to have people move better. So if you don't move, you're miserable, right? You're not gonna burn calories, or you're not gonna dance, you're not gonna walk with your kid or go jogging or whatever. Everything in life, the base of life is movement. So if you get people to move better, the chance of them feeling better is greater. Yeah. If we're sedentary, like this COVID thing was terrible. People got stuck at home, they got depressed. It really, I'm a happy-go-lucky guy. I'm almost never sad or frustrated, but it got to me too. People were this government was kind of crazy. They just wanted to shut us in and shut us down. Yeah. And I was trying to preach to people that the thing you need to exercise. Even if you're by yourself, you need to get out. Exercise is essential in life. They're saying other things are essential, but we lost that social aspect of exercising and interacting with people. So I'm trying to preach to people. And that's why my brand is so good. I get to just interact with people and just get out there and move. It doesn't have to be push-ups or squats. Just get out and go for a walk. Everybody's limitations are different, but getting people to move is so important for life,
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So when you're training these people, I always wonder, like, how hard is it to motivate them? Or are they self-motivated and you're just kind of guiding them? Or it's like, come on, like you got to stick with it, like push them hard? Or is it, so I know sometimes trying to motivate unmotivated people is hard, but I do know they're paying for your services. So how does it usually play out?
Sometimes people, they'll buy 20 sessions. And 20 sessions, I can tell you, it's a lot of money. They're paying like $90 a session. So but they think they buy the sessions, they're automatically going to get healthy and they don't have to do any work. I get people like that, but they still have to put the work in. So sometimes the hardest part is coming into the session. And it's usually, I tell people, the worst day, the day you're having a crappy day and everything's frustrated, that's when you need it the most. Because it's easy to be successful on a positive day. When everything's going well, right? Everything's wonderful. When you're having a tough day, that's when we really grow as human beings. So the days that my clients are frustrated or work sucks or they're fighting with their wife, those are the days they really need to come in here. And then they can bitch and moan. I have so many female clients that it goes one year or the other. I never take anything personally, but I just can't. I let them bitch and I talk to them and we do a lunch and we just I get them moving and we're talking about food or kids and we just distract them. So it's just engaging them. And it's not necessarily, they think they're not doing anything, but all of a sudden they're doing a lunge and they're complaining, but they're doing jumping jacks and they're complaining, but they're moving, yeah? And at the end of the session, they go, son of a gun, I felt pretty good. Because I'm like an open book with my life, so I try to connect with people on different levels. So they get to talk about, so they come to me and it's mostly like they get to vent. So they're venting, but while they're venting, they're doing squats. Or they're venting, they're doing a sit-up, And the part of connecting with humans is, doesn't matter what physically you do, if your mind controls everything, Correct. So I've had clients stop going to their therapist because they'd rather talk to me, which is fine. But I'm so open about my life. Like, when I was 25, I didn't know anything. I thought I did. But if I have a 7-year-old lady and I'm a 24-year-old guy, we have nothing in common,
Yeah.
But once I got married, I can talk to her about being married. Once I got divorced, I can talk about divorce. Once I became a parent, I can talk about being a parent. I just lost my dad. I can talk about losing a loved one. So at different levels, I connect with people at different levels. So you have to have that human factor. And so I think, so I'm motivating them by connecting with them, and then they trust me. Once they trust me, even if they don't love it, because they leave her swearing at me, but it's a love-hate thing, yeah? Because I'm making them do stuff that they don't want to do. I'm pushing them out of their comfort zone. But in the end, we're both getting something out. I'm learning from them. They're getting exercise. And it's never a perfect situation, but we're just trying to progress, slowly, incrementally.
Oh, that's good. And I'm sure, like you said, like I've worked out when I'm like shitty day or whatever, and it does, right? Endorphins kick in, and like you do feel better, and it's like, oh, yeah. Right. And being that you made it through your workout, and it's like, oh, okay, like that's what I always said. What you just said, the best days to train is the days you don't want to, and it does help, and it does. So what you're describing, you're a therapist. You're a trainer, you're a nutritionist. It's like, bro, you got like jack of all trades to do this job.
Well, I tell people, if you really want to be a good trainer, if you really want to be successful in anything, you have to have people skills. Like, what you do, right? So I mean, if you have people skills, you can do anything, right? So there's a lot of trainers who are just like, they have book knowledge, and they're like, hey, guys, do this, and they yell at you, but they don't connect with you. It doesn't last long. You know what I mean? On every level of life, if you can deal with people and connect with people, you're going to get more success, because you're going to learn to communicate. And that's the key, I think. Once you communicate, then that's a starting point. Then you go from there.
Yep, that is true. Yeah. So being that you're a personal trainer, you do have to kind of walk the walk. So for your self benefits, what kind of exercise regimen do you kind of go through on a weekly?
Well, before I was a bodybuilder, now I'm a 55-year-old dad that, I'm always doing like 50 million things. So I have to make sure I put time aside for me to train, because my day is so, like, I take my son to school, and I have clients, and I have brand stuff, and I'm delivering stuff. So my day can be filled up with 18 hours of doing stuff and never have time for me. But I know that exercise is essential. So I have to set aside time to work out in my day. Because if I say I'm going to do it when I'm done, I'm never going to do it, because I'm not really out of shape. So I just feel like, minor. Yeah. So I have to make sure I put it in my book, or put it on my phone, on my calendar, and do it. And now I've just kind of digressed. So I don't train as heavy. I still think I'm a bodybuilder. So I still like to do the bodybuilding style workouts. I go to Flex Fitness, Doe Cattery. I also have equipment in my studio, and I have equipment at my house. So it's everywhere. So I try to get in maybe 3 or 4 workouts a week. I'd love to get maybe 5 or 6, but realistically 3 or 4 times a week. Cardio, I don't hate it, but it takes a lot of time. It's boring. Yeah. So I try to do cardio a couple of times a week. I wish I would do more. I think weight training is awesome, but when you get older, cardio is very important for your heart and for circulation and stress. Yeah. So probably 3 or 4 times a week, I do weights. Still do the bodybuilding kind of stuff. Bench, dumbbells, deadlift, squats. Maybe just not as heavy, because I don't recover the same anymore. But I still love being in the gym, and I always train with younger guys. My son is 18 now. I train with him, so it's good to see. When you're 18, you think you're unstoppable, yeah.
Oh yeah.
So I gotta put my thumb down and show him who's the man every once in a while. But yeah.
Yep, let him know what's up.
I think it's good that you keep your edge. I always say I'm Kupuna now. I'm 55, but it's in your head, right? It's what you make of it. Yeah, it's what you make of it. So
that's awesome to hear. I grew up, my dad was heavy into weightlifting and martial arts and stuff. So he would bring me at an early age. And he basically taught me the right way to lift weights and work out. And at the time I'd be at Spa Fitness. If you remember Spa Fitness, in Kaneohe, and he'd be screaming at me. And I remember he'd tell me, pick up the weights, bend your knees, and I'd do them. And he'd tell me, put it down, do it again. And then he'd tell me, do it again. And the whole gym is watching me, and I'm ready for cry. I'm like 15, but I know how to work out correctly and safely. I know that. And you're right. You do got to make time to work out. For me, I set aside my time to work out. I work out 4 times a week, and I put on my hood, my AirPods, and I'm focused. I try not to talk, let nobody bother me. That's my time for me. And that helps me through the week. Whatever else I get going on, like that moment is my moment for me. I don't gotta do nothing for anybody else but myself. And that kind of helps balance you out a little bit throughout the week.
That's the key right there. Balance. That's for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's such a good, healthy outlet. Yeah. Spa. That was my first job. My first job. 1986, I worked at the YPO Spa.
Oh, YPO. My dad did take me there. Yeah. Was YPO had one by Punahou, and then Kaneohe had one.
Yeah, I got a good story which nobody really knows, but they used to have these magnetic keys for the spa. It was like a $300 key. This is in the 90s now, or 80s actually. And I helped, close the spa. So by mistake, they gave me one of the master keys. So here I am, 19, 20 years old. I had the master key to Punahou. I shouldn't put, everybody knows it. It's gone. Punahou, YPO, Neo Valley, Kaneohe. So we used to bring chicks, and we used to, I could go to any 24, I could tell you one of these days off camera. I'll tell you stories. But I could go to any spot because there was 5 back then.
Yeah.
So bring the guy. That's the good old days, man.
Oh, yo, we definitely gotta talk about that after. The spa, yo, the one in Kaneohe was awesome. I grew up going there, and they had like hot tub, and when I was 15, I would see all those ladies working out with the nice tight clothes. I'd be like, oh, yo, this is the life, and it was good fun. Who owned that? Was I know it was Thompson, huh? Was it Thompson?
Well, it was the Mormon Church owned it, and then the Gibsons were
Gibson. That's right.
Yeah, Gary Grondike and Ken Gibson. I know is the son.
Yeah. He used to play for Kamehameha. I remember.
Yeah, I think there's 3 sons. Yeah, one of them is like a handyman in Kailua. I seen him on Instagram. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Maybe I know. Yeah, but they ran it, and then the Mormon Church sold it to somebody else, and then it's gone now. But it was big time in the 80s and 90s. Yeah,
I definitely love that place, and my mana was there for sure from a young age.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, plenty good stories.
Yeah. Well, that being said, like, you kind of parlayed your mentality and your good vibes into your new brand, and that's what caught my eye, and it's something I would tell people here and there about, I just got to be better than I was yesterday. And then to see it on a shirt, I'm like, bro, that's such a dope idea. And it's just a square with the wording. I'm like, bro, that just resonates with me. And then I seen your video on Kaika's Instagram for his new shop. I'm like, oh, this guy's making something out of it. And then you hit me up and was like, oh, I'll send you a shirt. And I'm like, bro, this guy is aloha. I got to get him on here. Like, so how did this whole concept start?
I've been saying it for maybe 8-10 years. And every day better. It doesn't even sound grammatically correct, but I think as my son was becoming a teenager and my clients were all wanting to be perfect, I thought, you're going to be frustrated if you always want to be perfect. It's just not a way to be. My dad just taught me, I said, you always got to do your best and try to be better. And I think I just kept saying, just every day better. And the people saying, well, you're saying that a lot. And so I have a log by my bed. So I just write all kind of ideas. So I've always been an entrepreneur. I thought I'm going to make a shirt one day and it's going to be this. And then because I like graphics and I'm not a graphic guy, people make shirts that are really, really busy. But if you see the shirt, like you can see it 100 yards away. It's so basic. And then because of it's so easy to roll off the tongue verbally and it's so basic that it fits. But I didn't think about that. Okay, so I drew a little sketch of how I like to do it. And how can I make it really, really simple? And I just let it on the back burner. I let it sit. And then Guy Hoggy I was doing Cheap Eats with Guy and Augie. I did a bunch of shows with them. And I thought, I'm going to make this shirt and I'm going to wear it on their show. So this is 2019, August 1st.
Okay.
I called my friend and I said, I got to make this shirt and I'm going to wear it on the show because that's to be perfect. I'm going to launch it. So I went and made an Instagram page. And then we did Earl Sandwich and Kakako, did the show. And people kept asking. So people were DMing me and I sold 50 shirts in an hour. So I think we got something here, and the guy's like, well, that was super smart product placement. I gave Guy a shirt, I gave Augie a shirt. And then from there, people kept asking about it. And then my head was just spinning. I was just jotting down ideas of what I want to do. So to me, everybody wears black and white. So that's where it started. Black and white shirt. That was the OG first shirt. And then I was making little fonts on my phone. I don't have any graphic, knowledge. I'm not a techie guy. So on a free app, I was screwing around making different fonts and then I had some guy making my shirts and I just started different stuff and it grew. And I still don't have a website. So it's been 3 years. It's been the most amazing 3 years. Fortunately for me, and unfortunately, when the pandemic hit, people were stuck at home. Yeah. And I was putting out content, not knowing, because I'm old, and then people were digging it, and people were communicating with me and say, I really like what you're talking about, or I really need that positive vibe. And then I realized that I was fortunate enough to have this idea. I better trademark it. So I trademarked it. And then Everyday Better applies to people on so many different levels. You know, so
Yeah.
I realized it's a mantra, it's a motivation, it's a mindset, it's a motto, it's a, what else is it? What's the other I put that? It's a meaning. But most of all, I thought I'm going to start a brand, but I want to start a movement, because everybody can start. Everybody's a CEO of a t-shirt company. And that's
Yo.
I don't want to be a CEO of a t-shirt company. I want to start a movement of positive. And through the whole pandemic, I just seen people being so negative. And I've talked to a lot of influencers, and they've honestly told me I make way more money in views off of local guys fighting, guys whacking chicks, or, you know, just violent car crashes. And that's the truth. We're so desensitized. Negativity, you know, that's what has a lot of views. If you do something positive, you don't get any views. And I thought, I don't care. I'm gonna start a positive movement and do this. And because I'm old, I didn't want to start a website. I just wanted to do it. So fortunately for me, this brand has really grown organically. So every single person that I've connected with, like you, is through Instagram. So now I've sold about 13,000 or given away 13,000 t-shirts and hoodies off of my phone, which is pretty incredible because I've sent all over the world. So I've got, you know, a lot of fitness celebrities and people, but a lot of regular people, and just everybody can connect on a different way. So Everyday Better for your spiritual life or your mental life or your physical or financial or relationship wise, everybody looks at it in a different way. I've had people who had, you know, my dad passed away of cancer. My brother has cancer now. So we made Everyday Strong. So that's another thing we did. And I just thought the aloha thing was just like, we forgot how to share aloha with the pandemic. It was so bad. Everybody was being split and divided and unhappy and stuff. And I thought, you know, we need to go back to sharing aloha. And so I made that shirt, and that thing, 250 shirts in 2 days, you know, and I wasn't trying to make a lot of money. So I had to tell people that it's not a fashion brand, it's a passion brand. I'm really driven by passion. Profits will come. I mean, I have a regular job. I've been very fortunate to have this vehicle to spread my message. But every day, like if you wear the shirt, you're basically sharing my message. And it's not really about me. So I go to the mall and I see a shirt, guy wearing a shirt, go, nice shirt. He doesn't even know it's me. The old Eric was, but that's my shirt, but I'm the man. They used to call me Big E, but that's my shirt, but. But now I don't care about it. It's not about me. It's about spreading aloha. So if the guy goes, oh yeah, but my friend gave me the shirt, I love it. It's so awesome. It reminds me to be positive. So I started making wristbands and stickers. Yeah. And the wristbands, they're really inexpensive, but I've probably given out 20,000, you know, and then, so I like classes will call me. I donate to little kids' classes, and it's such a small thing, but like my wife always goes, oh, if you're in traffic, you better not swear at somebody. And look at, oh, you know, it's a reminder just to be, you know, it's such a small, cheap reminder, but it's very significant, you know. And I feel like there's different ways that I can touch people. And I think in life, we only have so many opportunities to affect and impact people. And I think this is truly my mission. I'm excited about, I got so many ideas that are coming up. Like I'm doing collabs with people, and I'm like, just my goal, and I'll put this out there. I'll tell you the first one here is, my goal is to have every single school have an Everyday Better shirt in their school colorway, because I want to be able to, I want to help these guys and make a shirt for them, because the kids need positive stuff. Put the school logo on the back. I'm working with 3 schools right now, and it's just a positive thing, you know. It's just, it's not really about me making money, because I'll help them fundraise, but why not have a positive message than a negative one, you know? I got some ideas I'll share with you off the air, but yeah. So it's truly, people say it's a lot, but the last few years it's been life changing, because this brand has grown. But as a human being, I get so much validation and joy from this, that if it was over tomorrow, I'll be blessed. I'll be blessed. Yeah.
Well, that's the best mindset to have. If, for one thing, if you love what you're doing, then you're already ahead of the curve. But to change people and give them a good outlook on life, and like Everyday Better, you don't have to be like, sometimes you want to figure out, I'm going to change, or I have these goals. It gets overwhelming because you're trying to hit this big, huge goal. But if you were to take things every single day and just get a little bit closer to that goal, that's the real progress. And like, you're never going to hit a goal in one day. So if you can work towards it, and like you said, it can apply to anything. It could be your health. It could be your family. It could be the way you're trying to get career oriented. It's just a good positive outlook that resonates with anything. It could be anything. And it hit with me. And it's something that I always kind of started, like during the pandemic. I got bummed out. I would go Kaika's house to work out because the gyms were all closed. And to get that outlet, and it's frustrating. So to have something such positive way come out from that is pretty cool, especially in those times. You know what I mean?
Right. It was, yeah, I was truly grateful for the opportunity. I feel like I had a platform to share. I would always put different posts and stuff. And I think I think it's been a year. So I do this thought of the day. So every morning I do like a little video, and then like I'd wear a different hat because my friends are Oahu Golf Apparel, so they give me hats. But I like, if I wrote a thought down, you would read it, or you might scroll by. But the fact that I'm actually talking about the thought, I think I got more views, and it wasn't really about more views, but I'm a regular person, and people they go, "Did you make it up?" And most of the thoughts I didn't make up. I found somewhere, some I thought of. I don't ever take credit for it, but it's something that I'm thinking about that day, something that applied to me. I'm not gonna put a thought of the day that has nothing to do with me. So if it resonates with me, I'm gonna do a thought that people are like, oh, and you should see my DMs. I'm so fortunate because the stuff that people tell me, I mean, life changing guys. Not about me, but just like, oh, I appreciate because today I was really feeling depressed, or I was suicidal, or that connected with me, and that makes me happy. So I could care less if I sold a shirt. If one person goes, man, thank you for sharing that, and I tell them straight, I go, it's selfish. They go, why? I go, because that was for me. And I don't, and that's not really true, but like I thought of that. Like I realized I have to be this way, or like my energy is not for everybody. That's what I was thinking. So I put it out there, and you guys connect because I'm being a real person. If I was trying to be perfect all the time, I would never share anything because I'll be selfish, right? But I think every day, like you say, incrementally a little bit better, and I'm gonna have junk days. But I tell people you grow in the low. On the low days, that's when you grow. So if I can share every day, and some days people love it, and some days, but I mean, and the shirts are just like another thing for me to share. You know, it's just, to me, it's a walking billboard, you know, but yeah, it's been incredible. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's very magnetic. Like you said earlier, like I put on a shirt, put on Instagram, thanking you. And I had people like, oh, where you get that shirt from? And I'm like, oh, just go on his Instagram. Like, I don't know if my friends did. I know some of them said they wanted to get a shirt to wear it to the UH game in the mainland. I was like, oh yeah, go get one. Like it's cool because the message and like you said, Hawaii is a beacon for aloha, and we're gotta lead by example for the whole earth. Like there's so much negativity in around, but Hawaii is known for aloha, has that positive energy, and sometimes you feel like it's not as existent, but then there's things like this brand and what you're doing. And it's like, right, it's still there. There are people still pushing it. There's people that still resonating and showing it. And it's kind of more fun to watch. Like you said, I would watch Hungry Hawaiian, or like all these videos like Scraps, or like the Island Boys getting into and fighting Waikiki. And you go down that rabbit hole, look what happened. And then you get you come across your message, and it's like, oh, this is the thought for the day. And you say the thought, and then you say every day be better. And then it's like, wow, that was way better for me than watching that other garbage. You know what I mean? And like, that's the kind of stuff people got to focus on and get that positivity, because I mean, if you're just dwelling in negativity, everything else is going to be negative, in my opinion.
Yeah. It's easy to go down that, because I catch myself a lot of video, and it's like, and like I said, I've talked to a bunch of influencers, and I tell them, you want to buy ads? I mean, no, it's okay. Because I mean, if you look at, I've been doing this 3 years, I have maybe 8,000 followers. So it's not impressive, but they go, oh, you should have this much. I'm like, I don't care. There's other brands that have 50,000 followers, or I said, it really doesn't matter, because everyone who's following me hopefully is a real person.
Yeah.
I don't need to buy extra followers. It doesn't make me any more. I don't really care about the money, because I mean, you can have 100,000 followers and 5 likes. That doesn't, I mean, it's not as important to me. You know, like I said, if I have one person that really appreciates the message, I feel like I'm succeeding, you know, and I don't really like try to sell the shirts. It sells itself, because people, they like the message and they want to wear the shirt. And then when you get the shirt, it's a pretty comfortable shirt, right?
Yeah, it's super comfortable.
You know, so I'm a t-shirt guy, a hoodie guy, because of my students' code. So that's why I just sell t-shirts and hoodies. It's super simple. I don't do tank tops and do other stuff like that. But if I wear t-shirts, I want it to be comfortable. And I think nothing against other brands, but the cotton shirts are super stiff. You know, so it's like you get it for the message, and you wear a comfortable shirt. Your first impression is good. I try to tell other brands, first impression is super, it's super important. And I just like, it's funny. The first year I never even wore my shirts. My wife was like, "Why don't you wear your shirts?" I'm like, it's just weird. But of course now I have every color, so I wear it all the time. And it's a good advertisement, but it's more, it makes me feel positive. And I think for a lot of people putting it on, it makes them feel great,
Yeah.
And any little bit better we can be, any more positive or more law, I think it's a good reminder, because we're gonna have those junk days, for sure. Yeah. Yeah. So
and it was a trip. Like you hit me in the DMs. I didn't even ask for it. You're like, oh, I want to send you a shirt. And
yeah,
I was like, okay, I gave you my address. It came the next day. It had a bracelet, had stickers, and a thank you note. And I'm just like, bruh, it just felt good to get something in the mail. And I'm like, bruh, that this guy is living his brand. And for me, that was super cool. I was like, I gotta get him on. I want to hear his story. I want to know what he's about. And most of all, I want to know, like, what are your goals and what you're gonna be doing for the future, and how you're trying to take this brand to reach positivity for people in the future.
Well, I mean, the next step is I'm forming a nonprofit. That was always my goal. Yeah. So my dad, you know, he just passed away last year, 81 years old, the most incredible person in my life. He impacted a lot of people, and he just taught us to give. So he was philanthropist. He helped everybody. And my goal is to always help people. And this is a good tool for me to help people. Yeah. So like I give out, people's like, oh, you give away too much shirts. I'm like, well, it's my brand. I can do whatever I want. Yeah. So like I gave you a shirt because I wanted to give you a shirt. You appreciate it. You were blessed. I was blessed because you're, so it didn't matter for me to make money. You just hearing you feel like you were stoked to get it. That made my day.
For sure.
It's just a shirt. You know what I mean? But if one shirt can impact somebody positively, why not give it away? You know what I mean? So I'm always going to get blessed another way. So this is a good vehicle for me to connect with people and network. You know what I mean? Because I have shirts in my car. So I'll meet people, random people. I go, bro, can I share something with you? And they're like, whoa. But like I used to give a lot of wristbands. COVID got kind of weird, but now I'm doing it again. Like every time I go to a restaurant, I put wristband or stickers. I say, can I give you a shirt? Like, why? But I just think so I try to do one person at a time. And recently, the last month, I've been doing this new thing. I say, okay, hey, how you doing today? Like I was at Ross with my son, and I told her, how you doing? She said, I'm good. I go, can I ask you a question? And she's like, sure. I go, it's not too personal, but what's one positive thing that happened to you today? And she's like, wow, nobody ever asked me. And she's like, oh, I got up, had coffee, and I got to talk to my grandson. I said, that's perfect. I appreciate you sharing that with me. She's all tearing up. She goes, you spent the time to ask me that. So people our reset button is negativity. Like, oh, I had a shitty day. I feel junk. I'm tired. I don't want to work. So I'm going to switch it for just 15 seconds. If I could say, Dad, what's something positive? So what is something positive about your day today? You tell me.
I got to work out, and I seen somebody I haven't seen in a while. And I seen him working out. He had some trials and tribulations, but he's getting his life back and getting back into health. And yeah, for me, that was cool. So that was definitely something positive.
See, so for a moment, we've interacted and talked about something positive. Because it's so, like I said, it's so easy to default to something. Hey, well, I don't junk there, blah, blah, blah. I just, like, so I pick up my son from school and I asked him, he got irritated, but now he just has an answer for, oh, I did this or did that. I asked my wife or asked my friends, asked my clients. So they're all programmed already. So they're programmed to be ready with something positive. So it's a good programming. And that's my way of sharing. But I think with my brand, I said, I want to be able to sponsor more things. I want to be able to do collabs with more people. A lot of people want to collab with me, but for the wrong reasons. So I say no.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It has to be a positive thing because I don't need the money and I don't need the fame. And if it's for a good cause and I want to do good causes, I'm going to start a nonprofit because I want to be able to just give back a lot more. I think my message is good. I got some pretty cool ideas of stuff this summer that I'm going to do. Slowly, I'm going to work on a website because I can have more time to do other stuff. But I think, social media can be such a great tool or such a negative tool. So for me, it's been a great tool for me to spread a positive message. And there's so many other options I have. I mean, every day I'm getting messages of people that want to connect with me to do certain things. And I'm just being picky and choosy because this is kind of my baby,
Yeah.
But yeah, I just want to be able to like do more events and sponsor more great charities and connect with more people, just do positive stuff. And the nonprofit.
That's super cool. It's weird to see, like I had people who had brands and stuff and they're all about like, oh, I'm going to do this. I'm going to make this much money. You never talked about that. You just said, I want to help people. I want to get people to see it. It wasn't about the business side. It was more about the Aloha side. Yeah. Bro, that's the best way to run a business, man. Like if you're sharing that Aloha.
People are saying I've been doing it wrong. People keep telling me I'm doing it wrong, but they're not saying that too much anymore. It's like, oh, you're doing the brand all wrong. You don't have a website. You don't have fancy packaging. Like you're like, so you got the shirt. Do you remember how it was packaged?
No, it was in a envelope. I was like it
was plain, right? But did it matter to you?
No, not at all. I was so stoked to get it. Yeah.
Why you were stoked to get the shirt, right?
Yeah.
you didn't think about the fancy package, right? So people
No.
like, oh, you got a fancy. I'm like, people don't care if they're gonna rip it over. They want the shirt. So like, I'm gonna focus on the message and not all the small little putting a tag and a little details. Like, so everybody's like, oh, you did it wrong. You don't have a website. You're not doing this. You don't have enough followers. You're doing that. You're not doing all the, doing the pop-up shows. You're doing like that. But somehow this old guy is moving product, but sharing the message. So, and I'm doing it how I want it. I want to grow it organically. So I could have scaled it and made a lot more money and did a lot more things. But I think doing that, once you get focused on profit, I think you lose your vision. So I still have a vision. It's still a great brand. I think it'll scale, but I don't want it to scale so big where it becomes a burden for me, that it becomes a business. Right now, it's still a passion. I love doing it. I can do it all the time. I can put out content and control it how I want. And then it's my baby. Like I said, if it's gone tomorrow, I'll feel grateful. I think I can do this for the next 30 years, and I hope to pass it on to my son and spread the the message to more people. I want to start a movement, not necessarily a brand. I want to start a movement. Yeah.
That's exactly what it is. And like, I've seen it multiple times at the gym, and it's just weird. Like, you just see it. Oh, that's cool. And I always said that, or like, and then it's like, oh, I'm starting to notice it more and more. And then you hit me up and I'm just like, wow, this thing is kind of different. Like, seems kind of not forced on me. It's just like something that you notice, and then you don't think about it. And then like, oh, something else pops up, and then your thoughts of the day, like that's something that's pretty cool. And I know it can be tedious to do or think of, and then I gotta sit down and make this video and post it. But like you said, if you touch one person with it a day, it's kind of worth it.
Yeah. And as I get older, I think, there's money's important and that's the things, but for me, it's it helps me be able to share as a human being. It helps me mentally, so I think, when you help somebody, it's twofold. Yeah. You always get back. Right. And I'm not doing it to get back, but it just makes me feel better as a person. So we need to be validated. I have a lot of friends who have jobs that they hate. My job I love. So I feel super grateful. I get to help people and I get to talk about my brand, and I put out videos, and I just, whatever. I don't care if I have bangs on my eyes. I'm not trying to be a superstar or anybody. So, and it's not really trying to be about me. So it comes from my heart. So I think that's the difference. And then if you're doing something for the heart and you're calculated, I think you're going to be doing the right way. Because so many people do so much things just for the material gain, and then they lose themselves in the process. And I'm old enough now that it's not as important to me, to do that. If like I said, just to interact with people and do this. And the shirts is, to me, it's a fun thing, because every day I get to meet new people. Like, I get to meet you. I haven't met you in person, but I probably have. But eventually we will. But because of this, you meet like-minded individuals, and honestly, like, people, like, plenty haters. I don't really have that many haters, not that I know of. I don't really get terrible. If people hate me, then I don't know why, because I'm not trying to, what I mean? Like, brands come up to me and they always like, oh, can you help me build my brand? I go, I'd love to help you. I don't even know who they are. I like to shout them out, but I'm selective with who I help. And, it's just, if we can help somebody, that's my goal, is to always help people, because I'm not trying to compete with anybody. We should all try to celebrate the success of others, but that's such a hard thing to do.
It is.
You succeed. I feel like, oh, he's succeeding, so that means I'm failing. It has nothing to do with me. You're doing a different thing. So if you succeed, awesome, and it makes you feel better. But people have a hard time celebrating the success of others because it feels like it reflects on their failures. That's a tough one.
Yeah. It's something that me and my friends always say. We have this saying, and I have friends who own businesses, DJs. We're in the nightlife industry, and there's so much hate going on. But in my circle and my close friends, we have this saying. It's called the rising tide floats all boats. I say that all the time. And if I'm rising, I can help my friends rise. If my friends are rising, they can help me rise. And if we're all doing it together and catching somebody slack when they're falling off, like that's what Aloha is. That's how it should be. Like, it's not like, oh, you did, like you said, you did that, so I must be failing. It's like, oh, you did that. That's awesome. That inspires me. I got to get back on my grind. Like, that's the way I look at things. But in this day and age, like, people find it easier to hate on somebody than to make a move internally. Just, you're changing that way of thinking now. That's pretty cool.
It's just more of a reflection of who they are. Yeah. Because people have messaged me like, oh, bro, you think you're somebody now because you got a brand? I'm like, first of all, I don't know who you are. No, not at all. I said, I'm an open book if you see it. And then sometimes it leads to dialogue. I go, where's that coming from? They go, oh, no. And then after a while, I defuse him and I said, you okay? Because now I'm having a really hard weekend then and this and that. And then I find out, and then I go about, it's all good. We can talk about this. And then I get a new friend because it's easy to attack people. And it's easy to just put up a wall and hate, look at that guy, Tad. But I don't like him. He get tattoos on his arm. You think he's a man, but it's like, it takes so much energy to be negative, and it's the same amount of energy to be positive. And it releases endorphins. You feel so much better if you're positive.
Yeah.
But through the pandemic, that was the reset button, is be negative, go drink, get nuts, blame the government, be angry. And it was so easy to be frustrated and depressed and angry. So many people were messaging me that they're depressed or suicidal. It blew me away. And I'm over here thinking I'm doing pretty good. You know what I mean? That's not my nature. But I realized there was so many people that were more in that, that were feeling emotional stuff going on that wouldn't talk about it. So I felt like my brand opened it up so they could talk to me and talk about it. So I was really grateful that I could talk with them about stuff. But yeah, so I mean, like it gave me a vehicle to be able to express. And I always tell like guys, my friends, like, I love you, bro. And people have a hard time saying they love to another guy because it's like, it's like Mahu or Macho. I go, it's not. I mean, because life is short. There's one day the person's not going to be there, and you didn't tell them you love them. You're going to have regrets. You know what I mean? So, and I told these guys, I love you, bro. And after all, like, bro, you know what? It really made a difference. And I love you too, man. And I don't really feel like on panty. That feels okay. It's easy to tell women we love them, and that's just trivial. But to tell a guy, I love you, bro, it's like, it's very impactful. You know what I mean? So I think we need to tell people more often that we care about them and we love them and we appreciate them, because we all need to be validated and appreciated. But most people go, oh yeah, thanks, but they never say, hey, bro, Tad, I appreciate you having me on, because they do. I'm grateful. So we don't show gratitude enough because we want more gratitude, but we won't share it. So if you're not grateful to me, I'm not going to gratitude, but if we start putting it out there, hey, dude, I'm super great. Like right now, I'm very grateful for this opportunity. It's an opportunity for you to help me share my message and my movement. So I'm grateful for that. But then it's both ways. We both are learning. We're both grateful. Hopefully, it's
kind of cool because I kind of feel like your mindset is kind of similar to mine, and it's cool to know like somebody else thinks the way I do. But
right.
It's kind of weird to think like your earlier career and life was all about drawing attention to yourself. Like when you're bodybuilding, that's all about you. Like you said, you're the one on the stage, you're the one that's putting in the work, and you're the one showcasing yourself. Now you're radiating that same kind of work ethic, but you're showing aloha and love and trying to give to people and not trying to get anything in return. Like it's just a different kind of mindset. And like how you said, I don't know if I brought it up on the show before, but when I used to work out, when I'm gonna max out, I used to think like, what's gonna make me angry? I'm gonna max out. Just like, remember that time the guy wanted to fight me, and I would just get angry and try to rage out. I watched the episode on Rogan, and he said, if you think of something positive, it makes you stronger. So I tried it. I'll think of my daughter. I'll think of something good that happened, and like the weight came up easier. And I'm like, wow, that's kind of weird, but it makes sense. The negativity brought negative results, but positivity had me do positive results. And I'm like, so when I work out, I always try to focus on positive things, and it makes me stronger. It's the truth.
It's a tough one because we're not programmed that way. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's like, I just feel like it's my, and maybe it's too much, but it's felt like it's my responsibility to spread joy and aloha. And sometimes it gets to like, it becomes very overwhelming to me because I feel like if I get up and I forgot to post the video, oh my God. But I feel like it's good because I feel convicted. Like I haven't, and it's not like I'm anybody, I'm a nobody, but that's not even that is a problem because I'm a somebody, you're a somebody. So Sam, but I don't need to be a star, but I feel like I have a responsibility to be positive. And that is not really about me, but I just feel like I have an opportunity and people are watching me. So they're waiting for my video. And it's not really like, my ego. I'm just happy that I can share it. And I'm grateful that I have the opportunity to share it. Because before I'd be like, I thought I was the man, bro. Like, whatever. And it was all about me. And then now I really have tried to deny self as I get older. I have a wife and I have a son and I have, my mom and family. So there's so many other people that are important. I try to put everybody else first. So that's good and bad. I've got to the point where I haven't taken care of myself. So I have to find that balance. But I think taking care of people and taking care of yourself, that's a good place to be, Yeah. Because there's a lot of people that don't take care of themselves or anybody else. And that's just, and that's not their mission. But for me, I have the opportunity and the energy and the ability to share. And I think that's my mission. So why not do it,
Yeah. And I do look forward to seeing your videos every day. And yeah, like even if like down the street there's this person that lives like maybe like a bunch of houses down, and they have a pen board and they always write a message on it like, oh, rejoice, God is good, or like every day is something new. And whenever I'm off, I'll drink my coffee, I'll walk down just to read it, and like, oh, I catch a good vibe and then walk back. And it's like just that those little things like can help like other people and you don't even know. Like your little like your little videos could help somebody make a life-changing decision or be so impactful that it'll change the direction that their life is going. You never know.
It changes the trajectory, right? And I try to do it in the morning because that's the first thing people see. So a lot of people, I don't like, push the bell so you can get the notes, but a lot of people do and say that's the first thing when they get up. I check for your video. So I feel like, you know, I feel blessed and have a great responsibility to share something with them, you know, that's positive. Because it's easy to put on the news and see somebody got killed, you know?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Don't need that. So
yeah. Well, we've been going for about an hour. Where can people reach you at, and how can they find you if they want to watch your videos or try and even get a shirt from you or buy whatever you have going on, stickers, hats, whatever?
It's Everyday Better Hawaii.
Oh, okay, that's easy.
Hawaii Instagram. It's super easy. If you Google Everyday Better, it usually comes up, but Everyday Better Hawaii is the best place to send me a DM. I don't have a website yet. I sell some of my stuff through Oahu Golf Apparel, but for now, just send me a DM. I'll respond pretty quickly. You know, they get shirts and hoodies, and the stickers and the wristbands are free. And people have questions, and they have comments, and they want to share stuff with it, whatever. I appreciate the feedback, and I like interacting with people. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you from coming on the show. I've been blown away with the energy you give, and it's a cool concept, and it's a cool idea, and it's something Hawaii needs, and it's something the earth needs. And every day I'll be better for sure. Like that's what I'm doing, trying to do at least.
That's what I say. You live every day better. I appreciate you, brother. I'm super grateful for the opportunity, man. I really am.
Right on. And I hope to reconnect with you in person, but maybe in a year we'll do this again and see what you got going on. I've been doing that recently because I've been this is like my second year, so I've been bringing some people I had last year to see what they've done over the year, and it's like, wow, it's so cool to reconnect. And you definitely somebody I would want to do in another year and see what you got going on. And I know you're busy, I know you're doing a lot. I appreciate you coming on, and it's been a cool conversation.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it, man.
Right on, man. Well, shakas for the cameras. All right. For us, you can find us on Instagram, Above the Bridge Podcast, on the YouTube channel, atbpod.com, Above the Bridge Podcast on YouTube and on Instagram. All right, man. Well, that's it. I hope that you had fun coming on, and I appreciate you. And all right. Shout out to the Artist Group Network. Aloha.